Hey everyone, Richard here, Metal Fan. Still gonna continue on with my end of the year lists. I know I've been slacking lately. Sorry about that. I've just been busy the last couple days. But yeah, anyway, today I'm gonna bring you another end of the year list, and we're gonna go through my top 10 honorable mentions of 2014. Yep. Now we're at the good albums right here. I got doing the top 10 albums that I thought are good, but didn't quite make it to my top albums of the year. I'm doing top 20 or top 25, so I haven't decided yet. But anyway, we're gonna start it off now. This isn't in any order, and this is all my opinion. So yep, sit back and enjoy. First off on this list, we have "The Flesh Prevails" by Fallujah. Now, some people might be surprised that this is not on my top album list. I mean, the reason being is because I feel like this hasn't had that kind of replayability, to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great album nonetheless, but I feel like Fallujah could have done a lot better. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, it's a great album. I think it's one of the first insane albums I've heard all year. I remember listening to the first song, just like Starlit Lit Path. I was amazed, and some of the other songs, like the Night Reveals, the title track itself, Sapphire, Allure, and Chemical Cave is just really insane. And I mean, I love the performance from these guys. I mean, Alex Hoffman's vocals just sound really sick. The drumming from Andrew Bayard is insane. The guitars sound amazing. And this album actually features a guest guitar solo from Christian Muenzer, from Obituary on the song Allure. And I thought this is a pretty good album. Next up, and not even just mentioned Obituary, I got the new Obituary, Inked in Blood. Now, I mean, I've heard of Obituary before. I'm familiar with this band. Bleh, sorry, I can't speak today. I mean, I saw from, I believe, Metal Injection that they were streaming the album, and so I went and checked it out, and this album is just, ball-crushing. I mean, I was pretty impressed with this album. I mean, it sounds like something like from Slowly Rewrought and Executioner's Return, there are other older albums, and I fucking love Obituary. So yeah. Next one is actually the debut album from the new band Devil You Know, The Beauty of Destruction. Now, for those of you who don't know who Devil You Know are, this is like a super group that features Howard Jones, formerly of Killswitch Engage, on this album, Francesco Arzato of All Shall Perish, and John Sankey from Devolved and Fear Factory. Now, I decided to win with this album. I've heard about this band before, and I was really excited to see Howard Jones back in action after leaving Killswitch Engage and having some health issues and shit. And I first heard the first song, I think was the first official single off this album, 7 Years Alone, and I was blown away. I mean, it's really good to hear Howard Jones singing again. I think his vocals have improved a lot after leaving Killswitch Engage. Like, his harsh vocals just sound really just insane, and his clean vocals just sound really powerful and amazing. And this album is actually a pretty damn good album. I was really impressed. Next up, we have an EP, the Surgical Remission Surplus Steel EP from Carcass. Now, this is the follow-up to last year's major comeback album, Surgical Steel. Now, this EP only has like a few songs that were left over from Surgical Steel. I mean, the one song, Intensive Battery Brooding, was included on the Digipack version of Surgical Steel, so I don't really count that, but I count the other songs are really sick, like Zokrat and Araeth in the Apparatus are just really sick. And it also includes a reprise of the first song on Surgical Steel, 1985, which is a pretty good album. I was really impressed. And next on the honorable mentions list, and some people are probably going to get crack at this one, and that is Body Count with their new album, Manslaughter. Now, for those of you who don't know who Body Count are, they're a metal band that features the old school rapper Ice-T. Now, most people probably know him nowadays as he portrays the character Detective Odafin Finn Tutuola on the TV show Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Now, I have heard of Body Count before, but I was kind of meh, I didn't really, thought it was okay, whatever, and I kind of wrote this band off after a while, but then after hearing about them releasing a new album, and they recently got signed to Sumerian Records, and then they released the album's first single, Talk Shit, Get Shot, and I was impressed. I mean, I wasn't not expecting this album to sound as good as I thought it would, and this album is pretty good. I think in fact, I listened to this album a lot more than I expected to be quite honest, and I think this album is pretty good, and I like this band, and I like that, like the song "Talk Shit Get Shot," and they actually did 2 covers. They did a remake of Ice-T's old "99 Problems" off of his one of his old solo albums, "Home Invasion," and I like that version better than the original. And they did a cover of Suicidal Tendencies Institutionalized, where they basically just changed up the lyrics a little bit, and I thought that was pretty funny. And overall, this is a pretty good album. I was not expecting to like this that more than I thought I would. Right, moving on. Next album is Inferno by Marty Friedman. Now, we all know who Marty Friedman is. He used to play guitar for Megadeth. And to be honest, I haven't really listened to Marty Friedman solo stuff before. But then he decided he was going to release this album, and I went and checked it out. And I was mad impressed. This album is just a shred-tastic album. It's just mind-blowing. And like I said, Marty Friedman, he's a fucking amazing guitarist. One of the best guitarists I've heard in forever. I mean, and this features a lot of guest appearances. One of my favorites has to be the song Sociopaths, which features David Davidson from Revocation and, if I can pronounce this right, Lycanthrope, which features Alexi Laiho from Children of Bodom and the legendary Jake Danko Jones, which is pretty good. Also love the song Horrors featuring the legendary, the great Jason Becker. And this album is just wow. Alright, next up we have Sun Eater from Job for a Cowboy. Now, I was expecting this to be better than it did, but it just didn't really make it to the top albums of the list. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a fan-fucking-tastic album. I mean, but I just feel like they could have just done a little bit better. I mean, these dudes, basically had stepped up their game over the last couple records. I mean, like I said when I reviewed this album, I feel like they keep continuing to get better with each release. I mean, Johnny Davi's vocals have just gotten better and better. It's just his screams and growls sound really fucking sick. And the guitars on this are really insane. I mean, the bass playing's pretty awful. And this is also the first album without original drummer John the Charm Rice after he left the band last year. And I believe they got a session drummer, Danny Walker. I mean, I don't know who's officially going to be playing drums for Job for a Cowboy now, but this album is just wow. Now, next album, and I know some people are probably going to give me shit for this, but whatever. This is my opinion. The Hunting Party by Linkin Park. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Now, to be honest, Linkin Park were a band that I could give 2 shits about. But then I heard some friends of mine talking about the first single on this album, Guilty All the Same, and I was listening to it and I feel like, wow, have Linkin Park gotten heavy again? Like, they're not, I don't really consider them a metal band, but I somewhat like them, mainly the first 2 albums. But I think this is a pretty solid album. Like this has like a lot of guest appearances, like Rakim on Guilty on the Same. He's an old school rapper. All for Nothing featuring Paige Hamilton from Helmet. One of my favorites, Rebellion, which features another guitar work from Darren Malakian from System of a Down. I was pretty impressed with this album. I was not. In fact, this is way better than their last 2 albums, that's for sure. Alright, next up we have Self-Titled by Darkest Hour. Now, this album took me by surprise. I mean, it just did. I mean, I wasn't expecting this to sound awesome. I mean, these guys basically stepped up their game since the last album. I mean, John Henry's vocals just sound really sick. I mean, Michael Shelbaum and Michael Kerrigan's guitar playing is awesome. I mean, the bass playing from Aaron Deal is just audible, and then Travis Orban's drumming just sounds ridiculous on this album. I mean, props to Darkest Hour for putting out a really good album. I thought this was a pretty solid, pretty damn good album. And the last album, and this is actually the first album that I've gotten this year, and the first album I've heard this year, Plagues of Babylon by Iced Earth. I mean, it's a damn good album. I mean, I think it's better than Dystopia, to be quite honest with you guys. I mean, it's better, but then again, I haven't listened to Dystopia in a long time. I feel like this is a better album for Stu Block being their vocalist, and some of the best songs, like obviously the title track, Democide, and Peacemaker, Parasite, The End. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty good album. yeah, but yeah, that's basically my top 10 honorable mentions for you guys. I might do my top album list probably sometime in the week, maybe before Christmas. Just fingers crossed. It just depends on how busy I am. Or if I'm not lazy, which I'm still apologize for that. I'm gonna try to get to it soon. But yeah, be on the lookout for that soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Keep it metal.